So my name is Joshua Parish, originally from the UP, enlisted in the military in 2000 to 2008. I was in Iraq for the initial invasion. So I came home. My wife and I moved down to Howell around, I think, 10, 11 years ago. And I've worked for the state, the federal, and the county government throughout the last 10 years. Currently, I'm employed with the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency as a regional coordinator.
Joe Riker. I am Army veteran and Navy veteran, serving about 4 years in the Army, serving in Iraq during 2006, 2007 during the troop surge in a scout sniper platoon. Got out because I had a family and needed something more family oriented. So I got out 2 months later. I missed the military so much. I joined back into the military. Air Force wouldn't take me it was a 1 year wait for the Air Force, 1 year wait for the Coast Guard. Wasn't going to go Marines. So Navy was all that was left. They said, we can have you out in 2 months. I said, I'll take it. So I did 5 years in the Navy doing Seabees construction as an equipment operator. Deployed to Afghanistan, Okinawa, Japan, and then got out in 2013. Ended up going to Eastern Michigan University, graduated with a bachelor's in psychology with a minor in social work, got out, was hired by U.S. Congressman Mike Bishop for the 8th District to take care of our veterans. And after about doing that for 3 years, I went on to be the clerk for Brighton Township, and also serve on many boards throughout the county in the Brighton area, doing veteran-related stuff, such as a chair of the Veterans Services for the county, Livingston County.
Thank you guys both very much for the service during your tenure with the military and for all the community work that you continue to do now. That's fantastic, and it takes a very selfless person to put forward what you guys do on a daily basis. You're both absolutely amazing.
So both these guys actually, they are definitely superheroes in their own right, but also they put on a event that we just went to for veterans called Vet Fest. And it's a pretty big event. If you haven't heard about it, definitely check it up next year and definitely show up if you are a veteran. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Vet Fest has to offer, and what you guys what made you start something like that, the Vet Fest?
We don't think that veterans are gaining access to the benefits they're entitled to. So let's offer a free event, completely free to the veteran and their family, and just see if we can get anybody to come. So when Joe and I first started talking about this, we figured maybe we'd have 200 or 300 veterans. And so we created an Eventbrite and we just started pushing it out. Slowly that number started to rise. It was at 500, it was at 700, it was at 1,000, it was at 1,200, it was at 1,500. And we're just like, we gotta cap it. We can't. Joe and I were the only ones raising funds for the event, and the biggest cost associated was food. So essentially this is where my normal everyday job kind of comes into play here. What I do for the state is I'm supposed to identify gaps in resources for veterans and then find solutions to those gaps in resources. So instead of holding a town hall where I'm going to get 2 or 3 veterans, or holding some type of class where I'm going to get 10 or 12 veterans, we just decided, let's go big or go home. So we're like, all right, what do veterans like and what are their families like? So we're like, free food, bands, bounce houses, beer. Yeah, every vet likes beer, cheap beer too. And
bands, 3 beers. Well, I mean,
3 Bs.
The bands, the bounce houses,
and the beer.
And the beer.
There you go.
Got a successful event.
Yep. And really, we did something that nobody else was doing. A lot of people were doing resource fairs where you'd have local community resource providers there to tell veterans about what benefits they're entitled to. But I've attended 100 over the years, and it's the same people. And I'm not trying to sound disrespectful, but it's the people you get at those events are the ones that, primarily just want some free pens and some, free squishy balls. And understanding your benefits is difficult. The federal government says that each military veteran is worth $1 million in benefits. And we're seeing less than 10 to 15% of the 11,000 veterans just in Livingston County alone gain access to their benefits. And it's not because the local county Veterans Affairs office doesn't want them to come in. It's just that veterans we don't know where they are. So Vet Fest essentially was just to get those veterans and their families out and about and gain access to just a free event. We gave away a bunch of cool prizes. We gave away AR-15s, golf packages. Good friend of mine runs a nonprofit called Folds of Honor. He had these signed Vokey Titleist wedges. I'm a big golf guy, so you give me golf anything and I'll be your best friend. I'm there. So, but essentially, that's what it was. And if Joe wants to add on to that.
Yeah, it was kind of this, basically, Josh had stepped or kind of put his thumb on the problem that we see is typically you see a lot of events for resources for veterans that are happening during the regular business day. So I worked for the U.S. Congressman, and that's something that's typical for any congressional office or senator's office. They put on an event, but most of the time it always happens 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And that's when a lot of resources would prefer to do it because it's during their regular working hours instead of on a weekend. So it fulfills it for a lot of people. But the only problem, though, is when you go to those, you only see like 10, 15, 20. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll see 40 people in there. And it's usually in a VFW hall or another type. And not that it's the VFW putting it on, but then the congressional member will come up and stand up there and speak about how they love veterans and stuff. It's a good idea, just it doesn't work.
And it's redundant and it's boring. Redundant.
There's nothing being offered except for resources, which unfortunately people typically aren't looking for the resources because they don't know they exist or that they're out there. Right. So what I had pitched, and we never did one when I worked in the congressional office, I would not hold one. As a person there to take care of our veterans, why would I keep doing something that's not working? So we would not hold one. But what we did in place, even though I didn't do it as Bishop's office because it really doesn't work out with what my job truly was. So what I just did it off as a volunteer on the side, helping Josh on the VCAT, Region 9 VCAT. And it was successful. Obviously, instead of that 40 some people or less in a hall during 9 to 5, which you're only going to get the guys and gals that either are unemployed or retired. But what about all the veterans like myself that I work a normal 9 to 5 job. My spouse works 9 to 5. Our kids are at school. Who's going to go to that? I mean, I'm not going to take a vacation day to find out about my resources I should get. So the idea, though, that Josh Parish and myself, we just said, it's got to be on a weekend.
It's got to be fun.
It's got to be fun.
And you guys definitely accomplished that.
And it's not going to be at nighttime when the kids are asleep. We want the kids to be there to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of kids. I know a lot of my vets that we worked with in the past. We've invited a few of them there, and I seen them bring their family, things like that. They were like, "Hey, thank you for bringing me to this thing." Definitely. I was like, "You guys." It was a pretty kick-ass event. I will say that. So
I had a spouse come up to me last year when we did it at Mount Brighton. It gives me, if you could see, I get goosebumps every time I talk about this. She came up to me and she was crying and she said, "I want to let you know that I think that you saved my husband's life. He's an Afghanistan war veteran and he had not been able to keep a job because of his PTSD. And he had not left the house," she said, "in 3 months. They found out about Vet Fest and he just perked right up. He's like, I don't have to do anything. We can just show up for free and I don't have to pay anything. Yep. Just everything's free and I get the chance to win some prizes and maybe see a couple of cool bands." And to me, that's what Vet Fest is about.
And I'm sure that for this particular person, especially suffering with PTSD, he probably felt very much at home because he was going to be surrounded by like-minded individuals that, if he did start having that level of anxiety or the lead up to, an episode or just whatever the extent of his issues are, people around him are familiar with it and are more understanding. So I'm sure it was like a comforting coming home place to him.
Yeah. And, the biggest thing about it though is Josh again made that comment that you do have the free band, the free food. I mean, it's free. The only thing that cost money there was a $2 beer. And if you wanted an event T-shirt to remember that, we basically sold it at just enough to pay for the shirts and the volunteer shirts. Right. Next year, we hope to offer the shirts even cheaper to make sure we really get the shirts out there in the word.
I think next year we're going to try to help you guys on the beer for sure.
Well, that'd be nice.
Free beer next year, hopefully.
But you got to really
Can I
truly
bring the leftover kegs to my house.
But you really have to think about it. What's going to get a veteran out that doesn't know that they need help?
Right.
Well, you offer free camaraderie with fellow brothers and sisters they served in the military with, and it brings the whole family together, not just the veteran. So now you bring this whole event that's revolving around the veteran and their whole family. You bring them there. Guess what? I'm telling you. There was barely there. I mean, there was a lot of people outside, but I'll tell you, you walk inside, there's more people inside walking around those resource tables than there were outside enjoying the beer and the band.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, you need it all, but mission accomplished. I mean, I think we truly hit what we needed, which was getting the people to the resource tables because it was so packed in there. And we did some feedback too. We did ask for feedback, and we heard some of the voices of the veterans and the spouses that said, we would like the tables to be farther apart because it was a little cramped. And, you have veterans with PTSD, like they don't want to be shoved in this. Yeah. So, thank you. We appreciate the feedback because we're gonna, him and we're not event coordinators. We are.
Really?
We are.
There's no wedding planning in your past.
No. Maybe in the future. I think maybe we can get in that business. Maybe we'll start that. Yeah. But we're truly just two veterans, combat veterans that have families, and we just want to look out for other families that have veterans, and this is one way that we can do it. So I think everybody that did understands that because it's not going to be a perfect event because this is something that we just throw together with our spouses, and
it's getting every year it's getting better. I believe
it's going to get better every year, and the more people you bring it to, the more people that are going to come. And what I like about it is because you guys did have so many resources, but you made the event as more of an event versus resources, which you've already said. Mm-hmm. But that having all the resources there, people were learning about things that they didn't know existed.
They were more apt to go up and talk.
While you were saying most people were inside versus outside where all the beer tents were and everything like that, it's because they were finally finding what they didn't know they were looking for.
Exactly.
Which is awesome because there are so many things that are available that people just don't know about.
I know we've talked before with you guys, myself too, is, a lot of military people, they don't like asking for help. They don't like asking for their discounts. They don't like asking for these things, and I'm always adamant with my clients and saying, hey, ask for your discounts, ask for this, ask for that. If you don't, this is going to be this and this is going to be that. And we had one client that, lived in a home for 10 years, could have saved $4,000 a year on his taxes, and he didn't even know. So that's $40,000 that he could have put back in his pocket. Talking to you guys about that stuff. Putting this event on, it wasn't in your face of, hey, we want to offer something to you, and here's what it is. It was more or less like, we want to have fun, bring your family out. By the way, hey, there's some people here that can talk to you about some things that you might be willing to have and learn about. And you guys really kicked it off there for sure. I will tell you that.
So this is your second year. You're planning your third year, and we're hoping it's going to double what your second year was because your second year doubled your first year.
Pretty much.
Yeah, first year we had 1,700, and this year we had 2,800 pass through the gates.
Nice.
And that's not counting people that we didn't account for. So
I was going to say, I
3,000.
really think there's probably way more than that.
I think so too, but right now we use Eventbrite. And the issue that we ran into was, okay, so you're a veteran and we're your family members. You get 4 tickets. You think that those 4 tickets are going to be on your 1 ticket. But what was happening is you'd have to print out 4 tickets. So when the veteran was checking in, they weren't checking their family members in. So the veteran, so we're going to deal with that logistical issue in the future. But, again, we're just living and learning here. And really, it's Joe, myself, and our wives. We're putting on an event that has so many moving pieces. I mean, my wife knows. She's like a couple months leading up to the event, I just kind of go into a zone and do my thing. And
she'll see you at the end.
Yep. And she's very supportive. And if she's listening, I love you.
So I will say that I know our team's going to be helping you guys for next year. I will say that, and use our services. And we definitely want to help you.
And there was tons of vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Tons
had
of
around
vendors.
76 resource providers there at the event.
How can other resource providers that want to get involved with you guys and want to offer vets something, and not only that, want to help with you guys and help either financially, labor wise, or
bring a resource.
bring a resource to the vet.
I would say right now the best way to come into contact with us would be to go on Facebook and search Livingston Vet Fest, and our page will pop up. But also, I would have them search out Region 9 VCAT. That's who I work for through the state, and the Vet Fest is kind of a subsidiary of that. But yeah, either way, it'll get to one of us, someone in a leadership position, and then we can have an offline conversation about it. But Facebook, Livingston Vet Fest, or Region 9 VCAT.
Mm-hmm.
And do you guys have any events coming up in the future besides Vet Fest?
We do. We have a few events coming up. So
I know you guys were talking about something with the turkey stuff and
Mm-hmm.
talking about some Christmas things and stuff
Yep.
like that.
So November 25th from 8 to 5 at the EMS building in Howell, which is right off of Thule Road. We're going to be giving away 150 turkey baskets at the Livingston County location and 50 turkey baskets at our Jackson County location. And I can tell you at a later date where the Jackson County event will be held. But again, that's just a free event that we offer to veterans and their families, really in a non-adversarial way for veterans to gain access to their benefits. We'll still have resource tables there. We just won't have as many. And it's first come, first serve. And if you go on Eventbrite and search Harvest for Heroes, it'll pop up and you can register, and you just bring your ticket the day of the event, and you get a turkey basket, no strings attached.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep. And then we also sponsor up to 50 veteran families annually. So it's pretty simple. Vet needs some assistance for their family for Christmas presents. We ask them to go into the local county VA office here in Livingston County in Howell. It's 2300 East Grand River, and sign up that way. Or we will have an Eventbrite set up as well. But we work with Toys for Tots here in Howell, and we just get names and kind of wish lists from kids, and we go shopping and give the presents to the vets. Get them some wrapping paper and all everything they need to get the presents. And again, very non-adversarial. We just want to kind of come into contact with people that need the assistance. So.
And people that are listening to our podcast here today and want to help out on those other events, not really per se more of a financial basis. How can people donate to stuff like that?
Well, as far as the turkey and the Harvest for Heroes, the Region 9 VCAT works with Livingston County Veteran Services, which is what I'm the chair for. Okay. And we also work, it's actually a couple nonprofits. The DAV, Livingston County DAV helps out with that event as well. So if you just reached out to Livingston County Veteran Services, you can look them up, check their Facebook out if you're a veteran. I mean, there's a lot of, they actually post pretty daily about a lot of the stuff that's going on within Livingston County when it comes to veterans, or just in general for veterans.
Or, like I said, go on the Facebook page, R9 VCAT, Region 9 Veterans Community Action Team. Just let us know if you want to volunteer or if you want to donate. Just any fashion that you want to get involved, we'd be more than happy to, find a place for you to volunteer. So,
and for future events too, not just that
events.
one. I would definitely push people to contact, if you're a veteran in Livingston County and you need assistance with anything, to truly either contact Region 9 VCAT, which is Josh Parish, or the director, Mary Durst, over at the Livingston County Veteran Services. And we do help with filing claims for disability emergency relief and assistance, which, we even help with paying for childcare for veterans that are trying to go back to college.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So there's a lot of new programs that we initiated this year. We also do a lot of counseling. If the VA is not picking up something when it comes to PTSD, if it's outside their realm of what they qualify and pay for, we're helping pick up that bill too as well. Obviously, you have to qualify for it, and it goes in front of a board and have to meet a certain criteria. But please reach out to them. Again, that's Livingston County Veteran Services.
That's awesome. Well, again, thank you guys.
Yes. Thank you for coming out. We really appreciate it. Love learning everything that you have to share with us today.